Some of the biggest names in the entire gaming industry are calling out Call of Duty, and the reason could honestly destroy the next COD. Now I'm sure all of you know the next Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, is set to come out in just over a month's time, and they're currently having a beta. Plenty of people are playing it and giving first impressions and giving feedback. Now last week we actually made a video about how Infinity Ward is receiving criticism, but they're not really changing anything. And one of the biggest parts of that was how they're no longer putting red dots on the minimap for when people are shooting. Honestly, an insane change. However, that's nothing compared to the skill-based matchmaking in Modern Warfare 2. It's one of the most strict skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty history, and big pros like DrDisrepect, couragejd, face sensor aren't happy about it, and honestly, I can't blame them. Only 18% of the people watching this video right now are actually subscribed to the channel. Don't be part of the 81%. Subscribe to the channel, you have nothing to lose. So it all started when couragejd tweeted out, Call of Duty multiplayer died for me when every player has a 1 KD encoded into skill-based matchmaking. It's a shame. I'm playing the sweatiest lobbies of all time with no rank to show for it. And yeah, that's the biggest part of it. I think a lot of people would prefer dimmed down version of skill-based matchmaking in all Call of Duties moving forward, especially because somehow they say that skill-based matchmaking has been in Call of Duty ever since the beginning, which is honestly really hard for me to believe, because I've only really noticed how sweaty the games are in Call of Duty over the last couple of years. And what couragejd is saying is, yeah, a lot of people want to at least have something to show off what type of sweaty skill-based matchmaking lobbies they're in. I mean, at least give us a rank or something like, hey, you're this good, so you're in this kind of lobby. But honestly, it's super hard to tell, because I'd consider myself an above average Call of Duty player, but like a lot of the big name content creators mentioned, if you have one good game where you get like an above average amount of eliminations, you just get put into people who play the game like it's their day job, and it's not fun. And couragejd is completely right. Face Sensor, or Doug, said remove skill-based matchmaking from Call of Duty multiplayer and have a ranked playlist at launch. And I think that's a great idea. I mean, I don't understand why people want such a easy experience in the casual multiplayer. I think it should be pretty much completely random when it comes to skill-based matchmaking. And we're actually going to talk about one of the biggest arguments about it during this video, where pretty much people say that, oh, people that don't like skill-based matchmaking just want to dump on bad players, you know, and they want to get high kills on people who don't know how to play the game. But that's not true. I've seen a lot of people counter it with saying they just like the randomness, and I completely agree. As much as I don't like playing against people that are, you know, mopping the floor with me, I think it's a good opportunity to see, you know, how they're playing and learn from it. And I also think it's fun to play people that are similar matched to me. I think the only problem with that is that constantly playing against people that have quote-unquote the same amount of skill as you is annoying, and it makes the game less enjoyable for people who actually care about Call of Duty. Basically, DrDisrepect says I'm going to get skill-based matchmaking tattooed on my knuckles, and then I can fist myself. Because, I mean, honestly, that's pretty much what the game's doing. FaZe Mongrel says skill-based matchmaking has killed every Call of Duty. It's so effing annoying, and I completely agree with him. Over the last couple of years, I've stopped playing Call of Duties like halfway through the year, not because of the content or because I dislike the game, but because constantly playing, I can't play Call of Duty for more than a few hours, because the skill-based matchmaking is just, they punish you so heavily. If it was dumbed down a lot, I think I'd enjoy it a lot more. I think a good representation of this is, as much as people don't like Call of Duty Vanguard as much, the skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty Vanguard seems very toned down, and I've especially noticed that in my lobbies, because I still do well, and pretty much I still do consistently well. And if I find I play myself for a lot longer because I'm doing well, but I'm not doing crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not dropping AC-130 type crap, but I'm still having a good time. DrDisrepect says, played Modern Warfare 2 for the first time today, and honestly, I can say the game feels good. From map design, audio, UI, flow, etc. It just feels solid. But It's amazing how skill-based matchmaking ruins the entire experience. And honestly, I couldn't agree with DrDisrepect anymore. The game does feel good. Modern Warfare 2 feels like Modern Warfare 2019, but better. And that's what I think a sequel should be. The map design, it looks fun. I'm excited to get my hands on and play the game. However, skill-based matchmaking will ruin this game. Does Call of Duty and Infinity Ward honestly think the majority of the community is going to play a game with heavy skill-based matchmaking for 2 years? If you didn't know, this is going to be a 2-year Call of Duty. It's going to be the first 2-year Call of Duty in like 15 years. And so they're going to have to do something to tone down skill-based matchmaking enough so that people want to come and replay the game. If I'm constantly playing against people who are just as good as me, the game gets unenjoyable very fast. I'd much prefer a random attempt. Now obviously, as much as I disagree with how heavy skill-based matchmaking has been implemented into Call of Duties and other games, I think it's important to see the other side. MW2 actually came out in support of skill-based matchmaking. Can't say I'm overly surprised because he's mostly a zombies player, so of course it doesn't bother him as much because he's not playing as much multiplayer, so he doesn't have as much as a problem with it. But as someone who constantly only plays multiplayer, it is very noticeable and very annoying. MW2 tweeted out, "Based on skill-based matchmaking, sucks in Call of Duty. All I want to do is drop 70+ kill games against dads who get 1 hour a week to game, 10-year-olds who trick their grandma into buying them COD, people playing a 6-inch CTD monitor. Is that too much to ask for?" And he got overwhelmingly positive response on this. It seems like the majority of people agree, even though these are very extreme circumstances. I think the majority of people that are against skill-based matchmaking don't want to just constantly do well, and I think that's a bad argument. As much as I want to show his side of the argument, I completely disagree with MW2 on this. I don't want to consistently do well in every single game I play, but I also don't want to consistently go even. It's not fun either way. And honestly, I can say I had a better experience back in like Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2, where every other game was different. I would either, some games I do really well, and some games I just go positive, and other games I get completely floored on. And yeah, it's annoying to get floored on. Everyone knows it's annoying to get beaten super hard in a video game. I'd much prefer that over constantly doing even. You know what I mean? It's not enjoyable, and they really think this is gonna last forever. Lawrence Suntake said, "How is there any argument against skill-based matchmaking that doesn't amount to 'I want to win all the time'? That's a terrible opinion." Chris even ratioed him by saying, "It's called 'I want to actually enjoy my game, but instead I'll have one good game and then play dudes who played the game like it's their full-time job and get SHIT'd on." And he's completely right. I mean, I don't understand how people don't see this. People say it's like, if you're playing in sweaty lobbies, it's because you're sweaty, and that could be nothing but further from the truth. Now, yes, that is true. If you're playing against consistently good players, it's probably because you're also a consistently good player, so congrats. However, this Chris guy is completely right. Whenever I do really good in a game and I just have a fun time, and I do really well, I find the next like 5 to 10 matches I just get dumped on, and people are slide canceling around me, and it's like these people are not the same skill as me. Just because I had one good game, they put me in the lobby with Twitch streamers and people that are slide canceling, and it's just not a fun experience at all. But I don't know. I think this skill-based matchmaking argument is super silly. I can understand why people might want to not constantly get dumped on. However, I definitely think that it's a bad opinion to say that people are only getting put in lobbies with people of the same skill level. I obviously don't think that's the case. If you thought the skill-based matchmaking was a big problem for Call of Duty 2022, you won't believe how Infinity Ward is replying to criticism about the mini-map changes. I made an entire video about the criticisms against the mini-map changes and how Infinity Ward is responding in the worst possible way. You can click here to watch the video now.